I mean, the false outrage was expected, and it happened. It rolled out on the socials as expected, as to plan. The plan was there'd be phony outrage, and then according to plan, the false outrage happened on cue. Exactly on cue. So it's the socials are responding without any entry level or kind of Activision boardroom talking how to make a game. Like, you need the engine. What history does the engine have? What's the art? What's the story? How deep does the story go? What's the quests? What's the gameplay like? What's the gunplay mechanics? Is there an economy in the game? Is there base building? Is there leveling? I mean, is there co-op? Is there dungeons? Is there multiplayer aspects? Is there content you can buy? How does it roll forward? Sort of thing. So it's probably the greatest technical challenge to achieve is to pull off technically a game that runs. So I think Redfall and Halo, and soon to be Hellblade 2 are the greatest technical achievements. And, the competitor is never going to say you've done a great job and your company, those IPs are worth billions of dollars. They're never going to talk up the valuation. And that's happening as expected, as planned, and as expected. The socials are poo-pooing IPs that are turning into the billions of dollars. I mean, Halo Infinite, single-player co-op, will earn money for the next 10 to 15 years, 20 years. I mean, that will provide the service. That will provide the service, a legitimate service as a monthly payment for years to come, years and years to come. So it's funny how the competitors and all the socials, they aren't attuned to it as expected. They're not attuned. They're attuned to paying, $50 on Steam, expecting the world. I can get a tailor-made this, I can get a tailor-made that. And I think that's what they've led to believe. Look at Star Citizen, how buggy that is, and how much you have to pay, but it doesn't get a lot of heat, right? Now you provide something with a workable engine, with good gunplay, base building, and an internal economy, story mode, Starfield, that works, and it's free on Game Pass, and you can rent it, and you get a lot of criticism on the socials. And you can play it on cloud. You can play it on the cloud. Everywhere, just about. So, it's that technical feat of pulling off Starfield in the time that was prevalent is an amazing accomplishment, which is a franchise that's building into the billions, $1 billion valuation for that IP, which is a massive task, which is a massive accomplishment. And same for Redfall and Halo and Forza Horizon 5. These are massive accomplishments that have a massive technical feats to pull off a game that actually works, and the team had laser-like focus and pulled it off, put the work in. They didn't mess around. It wasn't some sort of, fool's errand of a project. And now they're working on the Wolfenstein, now they're working on the Indiana Jones, and now they're working on the next this, that, and the other. And the write-up for Redfall 2 could happen. If the technical aspects can be addressed with the gameplay mechanics, the gunplay, the gameplay mechanics is limited because the game wasn't built for the Series S from day one. Once you have that 60 frames per second Vampire Wars, I mean, just imagine. There's already that Steam game that has a PvP Vampire War aspect. And that could be interesting to put into Redfall 2. If it can be technically feasible for the Series S, which of course it can be, it just has to start day one with it. Series S, keyboard and mouse, right? And that's lacking in the game. They didn't get the PC people into it because it didn't have keyboard and mouse. If you had keyboard and mouse, because you can one-shot people with the pistol, you can't do it on the console. That's what Atomic Heart took off with PC people, because it had keyboard and mouse. You could one-shot, you could get your hit markers, sort of thing. So the PC market is basically being consumed by the console market because it's an all-in-one device that's all included. Memory, storage, motherboard, power supply, case, fan, you see, cooler, vapor chamber, velocity architecture. So it's such a valuable product, and customers will seek the Series S. They will seek Redfall 2 even, if it comes out. They will seek Halo Infinite. Halo Infinite works keyboard and mouse. They'll seek Atomic Heart, keyboard and mouse. There's not much you have to do. There's not much marketing. That's what they're saying. Well, Game Pass isn't going to be alive because there's not enough marketing. I was like, well, you don't need marketing when the customer is educated. You don't need to do much marketing at all. They know what's going on. And you've got PC Game Pass on Ultimate. You've got Dune Wars. You've got a couple of Total Wars on that as well. So it's got everything. It's got literally everything. And it's all for the customer. And it's against price gouging, believe it or not. Game Pass monthly sub is against price gouging. They charge enough to break even. They charge enough to pay the wages. They charge enough to expand, to bring out another game, to reinvest back into more games. So that's the model. And price gouging, like how many failed games are out there, that never really to get the gamers, right? The launch fails. The launch never quite gets there, right? How many games have never really launched into the mainstream that are just kind of online games for nerds? Like how many of them are there?